welcome back to another episode of Blackpacking. I am your host, Jerica, and today I have Marcus with me. How's it going, Marcus?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah. What you been up to today?
Today's been pretty chill, honestly. Didn't do much, worked out, did a couple chores at home, wishing I could travel, a lot more than I have been currently, so yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do?
Okay, originally from Florida, so Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
Went to school in Tampa, USF, currently in private equity, and I just really got a new job in private equity, and that's, to sum it up, that's really it. I'm into travel, I'm into, like trying to stay like in shape. That's always a thing. Yeah.
So what is private equity? For those of us that don't know, that includes me.
That's a good point. I should have clarified. Private equity is basically, it's basically investments. So like investing in businesses, large and small.
Yeah. That's awesome. How'd you get into that?
Honestly, like through the rabbit hole. I'm in finance, so literally, like I heard about the industry and like slowly been making my way into the industry, and here we are now.
Yeah, nice. And so, COVID, obviously, we're not traveling right now, or a lot of us aren't traveling. Have you been traveling at all during this year?
The only place I've went to, I would say, it's only been Mexico. So it wasn't Tulum. Just to clarify.
We just know a lot of people have been out in Tulum and Aruba. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Those are the only places we can go right now.
It is kind of wild that everybody's going to the same places, but it is what it is. Like I went to Cancun, and honestly, I just went there. I had like a week off from work, so I'm like, let me just disconnect and unplug.
Yeah.
And that's really what that trip was. Like I didn't do like all the excursions that I typically do. Didn't really like go out as much. Literally, I got a massage while I was there. Went to the beach, went to the pool and the bar like every day.
Yeah.
And that was the sum of things,
Yeah. Well, I feel like maybe the nice thing about traveling now, like if you choose to do so, is it really can be like a vacation. You don't have to like feel like, oh, I gotta go see this, oh, I gotta do this. You're like, well, actually, why don't I just like go somewhere and just like chill at the hotel, the Airbnb, the resort, and like just go to the beach. I don't need to like be out. You can actually like relax and feel like you're on vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess that's like one benefit if you're deciding, oh, like I want to like travel, like I guess there's still a way you can do it, and it like you're still kind of away from everyone if you just keep to yourself a little bit and just have like some you time or you and a partner time for sure.
Yeah, you don't have as much of the guilty, feelings afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any trips coming up planned?
Yeah, I'm going to a bachelor party in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
That's pretty much the best we can do since, I can't really go many places.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably in December, I want to say, beginning of December.
Oh, that's exciting. I've actually surprisingly not been to Puerto Rico nor Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like one of those because they're like right there. We're right here. I'm like, oh, I can like get there sometime. I think this time would probably be perfect for that. But yeah, I still haven't been. They're so close, and I gotta take advantage.
It's cheap, honestly.
Yeah, I know. And that's another thing. I'm like, oh, I can like do that like later on down the line. I'm like trying to get all the expensive trips out of the way, but I should take a cheap trip. Absolutely.
Yeah, honestly, like my tickets to Mexico, when I bought them, it was like the day before. Mm-hmm. Literally, I bought it coming out of, I was in Florida at the time. Round trip was $120.
Woo!
Yeah, like, to Mexico, and I'm like,
yeah.
This just makes sense, you know? Like.
Yeah. What would you say to people out there that are like wondering like how you were able to like travel somewhere like Mexico like safely? Like what would you say to them, or like the precautions, like how's the airport like?
Okay. So in terms of the airport, it's like the same as domestic. Everyone has on masks. For the most part, people in the airport are spread super far apart. And even beyond that, like, travel is slowed down. So, like, these massive airports like ATL, Tampa, Miami, New York, all these airports are relatively empty.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to be, like, crowded on top of people anymore. Yeah. Like, even, like, the TSA pre-check lines or, like, even the normal security lines, like, you're not on top of people nearly as much. So, definitely in terms of safety, like, it's far better, like, than any other alternative, like a bus or something. Mm-hmm. And even when you get there, like you pretty much take the same precautions that you do like when you're out and about, like in your city. You know,
Mhm.
you wear your masks, and for those who aren't in Atlanta, like I would say Atlanta, like we're a little bit more open than others.
We are wide open here. I just drove past Piedmont Park. I'm not sure if you saw, but like, I mean, people are socially distanced, but there are so many people out there in the park right now that it's like.
Yeah, and you know that's what I was prefacing. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, when you go out, like some of these like vacation areas, like so Cancun, for example, when I was there, like the bars and stuff, like people are there to vacation, and you can tell the difference between people who want to social distance,
Mhm.
who still have on their mask and are away from people, and then you have the group of people who don't care.
Yeah.
So like you kind of have to like figure out which one do you really fit in, and also be cognizant of that whenever you book like your resort or something.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to a party resort in Mexico,
Yeah.
they're still partying.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it is. So
Yeah.
definitely like just take your same precautions. You know, wear a mask, do whatever you have to do to feel comfortable.
Yeah. So what, you stayed at a resort when you were in Cancun?
Yep.
What was kind of like their precautions and like rules there? Did they have like anything like super like special going on there?
Yeah, so they weren't as strict as some other hotels I've been in this
Mhm.
year. So they still do like the normal cleanings every day, which is a surprise. Like the Hard Rocks and other hotels I've stayed in within the U.S., like they typically are like, hey, like we'll clean your room once maybe during your stay, or we'll just wait till the end of your stay to go in there.
Yeah.
The resorts in Mexico, at least the ones I went to, literally same day they'll clean everything up. All the people there have on masks, which is a good part.
Yeah.
Mask, gloves, and then like I think they had like a sanitizing machine I saw.
Hmm.
So like they spray a couple like knobs and stuff down, but it wasn't anything really over the top, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you felt safe while you were there?
Yeah, I was comfortable.
Yeah, relatively. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to know. All right. Well, I got some of these pod deck cards here, interview questions, and I love these. These are really fun and random questions. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of these. See how you do.
Okay.
Let's see what the first one's got to say. All right. Which talent would you most like to have?
What would I most like to have?
Yeah.
I would probably say socializing, you know, like being able to like literally like socialize with anybody, talk with anybody,
Yeah.
and network.
Yeah.
Just because like I don't know, as you get older, you're like it's not really as much like what you do know as who you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And obviously COVID has made that relatively difficult, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's weird. I've been out like a couple times, and when I mean out, I mean like sitting on a patio at a bar, and I've like talked to like a couple people, and we like start engaging in conversation. And we're like, oh, I'm sorry if I'm like being weird or awkward, like, you know, like I'm not used to like talking to people out, like random people that you don't know, like just like striking up a conversation. It feels so weird and not as natural as it used to.
Yeah.
You know, and I can always like be a little shy sometimes, so I feel like, I mean, COVID has made me more of like a hermit and kind of like disconnect to like social interactions, but I'm trying to get better, you know, doing these podcast episodes definitely like helps like keep me like interacting with people and like engaged and asking them questions, like people that I typically, you know, don't know, so I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see, next question. Alright, what book belongs on everyone's bookshelf? That's actually a really good question. I mean, I love to read, so.
You do?
Yeah.
Then you should, let's see if you know this book. I would say that everyone should read. I'm in finance, so this is going to be biased.
Well, is it about how to like work on your finances and like?
Kind of. It's more of a
Well.
mindset book. So
Okay.
like Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
It's more so like a mindset. You know, you kind of set a goal, and you know, like when you set goals, you should really have like tunnel vision to a degree,
Yeah.
and just focus on doing that one thing and focus on the steps to how to get there. Really.
Yeah.
And it's not really a book about wealth so much. It's really just like I said, like all about perspective. It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Okay.
I want to accomplish X. How do I get there?
Yeah.
And you know, what does that really look like?
Yeah. What's the name of this book?
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I might have to pick that up because I like the name. All right, next question we got. All right, who would you play in a movie?
Who would I play in a movie? Oh my gosh. If I had a choice. Actually, let me be real. I would be the Black Panther. Like, that was an easy one. I'm like, I'm a Marvel fan. I'm like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah. R.I.P. Chadwick.
Yeah, honestly. 2020 is wild.
Yeah, 2020. If you haven't had a wild 2020, I don't know what you've been doing. But yeah, it's been a lot of like really tragic deaths for the most part. But yeah, all right, Black Panther. I'll take that. But along the lines of 2020 and what's been going on, there's some new news here in the U.S. I'm sure a lot of you have seen. We have a new president-elect, which is a little exciting, to say the least. I guess like it's exciting in the idea that we have some change coming up. I hope at least. Marcus and I were actually supposed to do this interview
like last weekend?
Last Saturday when the announcement came out. And we were both kind of like, oh, maybe we should put this off because, I mean, the world kind of shifted a little bit, I felt like. And it seemed like all over the world, people were like celebrating the fact that we had this new president, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
You know, like I told you before, it was really reminiscent of seeing any video of a dictator leaving.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's really what it looked like. And you know, like we're really a part of history.
Yeah.
Like taking a step back and thinking about it, like 2020's had a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
And this is definitely going to be in the history books.
Yeah, I keep looking at it that way. Because I know you're relatively new to Atlanta, and like I've been here for about a year, and this whole year I feel like has just been like everything that I've experienced is I'm like a part of history, and it's weird like feeling like that, especially like last weekend, like being down in Midtown, there was just like so much love going around, so much like happiness, like cheering. Like I feel like if COVID wasn't a thing, people would have been hugging, kissing each other, like high-fiving. But you know, everyone was wearing their mask, but it was like this like historic celebration, and I think it was more so like us not celebrating the new president, but like celebrating like unity that we needed within a country. We needed to everyone kept being like, we needed this, and it was like, yeah, we needed something to like bring us together, at least like people on one side, to bring us together like a little bit more, and like for us to know that we have each other's backs, and like there's community. So that's kind of what I felt from Saturday. It was beautiful, and I feel like I hear a lot of people kind of feeling like the left side is not patriotic, or they're like anti-America, you know.
Yeah.
But that like in that moment, that was like the most like patriotic, like pro-American thing that I felt like I have ever been to or was like a part of.
The numbers really speak for it. You know, like record turnout for African Americans, record turnout in general for voters.
Yeah.
You know, you got women voting, you got all sorts of minorities voting.
Yeah. And I'm like, you can't get more American than that. And like that, like to me, that is like the dream America. That's the American dream, if you will. You know, just kind of having that representation and voting and feeling like your voice is heard. And I think it showed a lot of us how much like every vote does count and how tight numbers can be. And hopefully like encouraging people that feel like, oh, my vote doesn't matter, like them really seeing like, no, your vote like does matter. Like this past election shows you how important your vote is. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I honestly hope though, at least like given how many people really voted this go around, I'm like, I really hope that like this kind of type of trend sticks around.
Yeah.
In terms of like even on a local level, state level. That's really where it counts as well. You know?
Absolutely. I think it, not that it doesn't matter on a national level, but I feel like people can see the biggest impact from their voting on like a local level, like you said.
Exactly.
And like most like local officials that run, they are like in the community. And so, you know, if you follow them and kind of stay up to date with them, you know what's going on in your community, you know what they're trying to promote and get passed, and it's something that you can be a part of very easily, which is amazing. So yeah, so things are good here in the States, I guess, for now.
Yeah, you know.
I think a lot of people were expecting the election to go another way and things to go really bad, but as of right now, they're all good.
Yeah, places were boarding up for
Yeah,
no reason, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I went to the Edgewood district and like the Target and the Best Buy. They were all boarded up, and I was like, "Dang, is it really like about to be like that?" And luckily, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But like even that like made me like really anxious and nervous. I'm like, "Oh no, like what is about to happen?" You know?
Yeah, after seeing like the riots and protests, even that happened here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
During the police brutality, like with Ahmaud Arbery and all the different other people, I'm like, you know, this could really go, like, this could really turn left, you know,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, I just started listening to this podcast today. It's called Buried Truths, and it kind of follows at least the most recent season, follows the Ahmaud Arbery story, and I've been like listening to that, and it's like, it's had me like in a mood of like how real that situation is. Like when you hear about these cases, it's one thing, but once you like hear about them in detail and it's kind of like broken down and like told as a story, it gets you. And like coincidentally, that event happened on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I always like think about that too, because it happened on my birthday, but like, you know, we didn't find out for like months later, and so I kind of like think about like time and just that whole case like really sits uncomfortably with me for so many reasons. But I would suggest everyone check out that podcast, Buried Truths. It's really good to kind of hear more details about that case and that story. So, yeah. So Puerto Rico in December. Any other trips coming up?
I wish.
Yeah.
Like I know, like my little travel squad we were talking about earlier
Oh,
before
you have a
COVID.
travel squad?
Definitely have a travel squad.
See, I'm solo travel over here.
Oh.
I can't imagine having a travel squad.
There's nothing wrong with it, you know, like to each their own.
Yeah.
You have to have both types of trips, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like for me, like getting that healthy balance is a must.
Yeah.
Like the solo trip to Cancun was a must, you know, like I got to disconnect, but typically I'll be out with like, I have like a group of 4 of us.
Mhm.
And we typically go to like 4 or 5 places throughout the year together.
Yeah.
And that's the squad, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, if you guys have done it before, obviously you know the routine, you know everyone's travel styles,
You know how it
make
goes.
work.
4 fit in the Uber, 5 don't. You know, like, that's
So
really what
true,
it is.
so true.
And like before COVID, we were definitely like planning to go out for Trinidad's Carnival this upcoming year, but now that's canceled and out the
Yeah,
window.
it sure
So
is.
yeah, we were there earlier this year, just like during the carnival season, just like for like the earlier parties, and I was like, it was the time of my life, like
Yeah.
easily, like between the parties, the food, the culture, even like the scenery, because like Trinidad's like a very mountainous like island,
Yeah.
and just beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
Even like the people, like over there, like
Oh yeah.
like the complexions, the variety, like the really like the diversity there. I didn't understand how diverse it was there.
Yeah.
So like you have like Asians, Indians, blacks all mixed together,
Yeah.
you know, like, and they all have a Trini accent, so it's
Yeah.
really wild. Like, oh, this is dope. Like,
Yeah. What place would you say that you're looking forward to going to kind of after COVID has settled down a little bit?
Most looking forward to would probably be Ghana. I want to say, like, I really want to get out to Africa. I haven't been
Yeah.
out there yet, and it's been on my to-do list for quite a long time. Honestly, just never had the right timing, or like ticket prices were just crazy. So like, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. Like
Yeah.
whenever things open up, like hopefully something's going on in Ghana, I can come down there, spend a few days actually like exploring,
Yeah.
and spend a few days at like an event or something, you know. So
Yeah, Ghana's actually kind of in my top 3 list as well. It's like Ghana, Thailand, and Cambodia, Vietnam are kind of my top 3 to travel to next once things get better. It's gonna be really interesting to see how traveling will change, especially with like the introduction of like the vaccines. I've heard like all kinds of like crazy rumors about like vaccine passports and kind of like having this way of like essentially tracking our health and being able to track to prevent another like outbreak, pandemic of a virus, which is wild. That's kind of where we're headed in.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how everything turns out, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know how it's gonna look like a year from now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though, we get like a vaccine by next summer. I know, was it like Pfizer?
Yeah.
Had like a 90% effectiveness rate on the one they just announced. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers. Hopefully, you don't grow a third arm.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you got any questions for me? I think that's all we got for today, right?
Yeah, I think so. But actually, where do you really want to go as soon as COVID's over? I know you said your top 3 destinations overall.
Yeah.
But where do you want to go once COVID's over?
So let's see. Like overall, so which I guess it doesn't really matter now because I feel like everyone's gonna have our DNA records. But I did a 23andMe at the beginning of this year to find out like where I was from, my ancestral roots and my heritage. It was actually, at least the most part of it was like 33% was Nigeria.
Niger.
Yeah, and then like maybe like 20. I think it was like 22% was Ghana actually.
Okay.
So I mean Nigeria is on that list because I wanted to kind of bring like the Blackpacking podcast like full circle and do an episode in Nigeria. So I thought about that. But it's like I think I'm gonna be like so overwhelmed by the cheap flights and because I feel like when everything opens up, I feel like it's gonna be like everything is like opened up at once. And I think it's gonna be like really, really overwhelming to like to decide where I want to go. And I think a lot of people are gonna be like pushing all these deals, like hotels, or like we're doing this, and this. You can stay here. Like it's just like I don't know. It's gonna be very, very overwhelming. But I'd say like Nigeria, Ghana, like Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, I've been wanting to do like before COVID and. Like it seems like COVID has made it like a little bit stricter for me to even maybe do that in the future. So I want to like get out there before it's like I can't do it at all.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's been pretty hot too, like over the years. Like I feel like it's just gotten more and more popular, like to go to Thailand.
Oh
or
yeah,
Southeast
Bali.
Asia, like Bali.
Yeah.
If you come to the Bay, like I definitely know at least 3 or 4 people that have went in the last 2 years. Like.
Yeah, but like I've heard like really, really good things, especially just like very accepting of like Black culture too in Indonesia. So I think that's definitely one reason why it's become like a main attraction.
Yeah, and I'm actually tempted to like just book a flight, a really cheap flight for late next year.
Yeah.
With like the anticipation of like things should start to be opening up, and maybe I should take advantage of these cheap flights, you know, while they last. Because like you said earlier, it's like once it gets going, like it'll probably start off like a trickle, but like once things pick up, it's just gonna ramp up, and prices and everything will ramp up as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Things are interesting. For us travelers, you know, I think like for me, like traveling just gives me like a great sense of myself and like perspective and the world. And since I haven't been able to travel and since it's felt like my world, at least here in the US, has just been crazy, it's like I feel like very disconnected from a lot of things that are like going on all the time. I'm just like, whoa, like. And I feel like I can't escape because like usually traveling is like my escape from the craziness in the U.S. and I'm like, oh, I'm like in it, you know. So, but it's been hard and only more and more time has passed since I haven't traveled. But like doing this podcast really helps. Just even like talking about traveling at least like keeps me in the mindset state of like, oh, I will be doing this again. It's not like it's completely over, and then like, you know, meeting people like you that have recently traveled, kind of giving me the scoop of like, you know, this is kind of what it's like, and it's still safe. You can do it safely. Definitely kind of like encourages me to be like, maybe I could try like one trip here and there and see how it goes. But you know, it's all just so up in the air right now.
Yeah, agreed. And like even for those who are like working from home, though, like people working from home have it a little bit better to a degree, because like you can just work from anywhere. Like
Yeah.
when I was in Mexico, like I definitely met like 3, 4 Americans who are like, I've been here for a month, I've been here for 2 months, you know. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just like, that's dope. Like,
yeah. I mean, I wish I had that luxury of remote working, or I would probably be doing the same, if not doing the van. I was telling you about just being cross country, going state to state, like working like that. That's always been my dream. And then like COVID happened, I'm like, dang, I wish I wish I had worked remote so I could at least be traveling and like going, or like feel like my life is going in some sense, because it feels very like pause. It
yeah,
feels like just like a long pause for the most part.
yeah, it's definitely proving to be one of the worst mental tests, or the most difficult mental tests of yet. You know,
Yeah,
like.
no, absolutely. But we're getting through. We're getting through.
Yeah.
Well, Marcus, I appreciate you hopping on the show.
No worries.
Telling us a little bit more about yourself, telling us where you've been, telling us about private equity.
The short spiel, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
No worries. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank y'all. And thank you everyone that listens to the show. You know, subscribe to all the platforms if you haven't, or at least subscribe to one, and be a part of the Blackpacking family. Until the next episode, y'all, I'm out. Bye.